Security-wise, we've been able to crime map this country in terms of threat analysis, in terms of what we expect, what we need to do during, before, and after the elections. And the military have also pledged their commitment to support the process by providing the needed support at their own level, which requires different kind of assistance in terms of, because they may not be actually policing the election, but they are to ensure that no adversary, by whatever means, come out to disrupt the process. The INEC has also told us that it has everything in its custody. The Chief of Air Staff has confirmed his continuous commitment and support in making sure that where his assistance is needed, everything that requires his assistance in terms of deployment of materials will be done. So also the Chief of Naval Staff, who is going to give the same support in the riverine area, and we on our part are going to provide security, like I briefed this press sometime last week, that we expect we will be able to cover every polling station in this country with our men, and we also expect to provide a motorized patrol to ensure that no adversary come to, by any way, distract the electoral process.
Every vote counts. Every moment counts too. Get front row seats to Nigeria's biggest elections yet, with round-the-clock coverage by our super reporters across the country, bringing what may be our closest election even closer to you. Watch the 2023 verdict, only on Channels Television.
All right, welcome back to the 2023 verdict. And as you've seen there, Olawale Okunoye joins us next. He is the chairman, contact and mobilization, special duties for Labour Party. He's also head grassroots mobilization for the Obi Dati Presidential Campaign Council. Good morning. Thank you for coming.
Good morning. It's my pleasure to be here, Chimbali.
What a time it is for you, your party, the movement. You still call it the movement?
It's a movement. It's a movement more than a party, beyond a party at this point.
How is the movement moving now?
Well, greatly. Organic support, massive youth endorsement, workers endorsement, ethnic nationality endorsement. Massive, huge. It's a vision that started in 2017, you know, that we needed a credible alternative from the behemoth and the Leviathan, and that we needed to reclaim Nigeria through that platform, and it has come to fruition. So today you see the support massive. It's, if you conduct an election today, Labour Party will win.
You think that this organic support and what you speak about is sufficient?
Yes.
To ensure Labour Party gets victory?
Yes, very sufficient, because some of us who are also veterans in this business have structuralized that organic support. We have built the layer of support that is structural, you know, not just, we have also structured it in such a way that they are on the ground, they are in the grassroots.
But when you say you have structured this...
Yes, to be, you know, because they say that we don't have structure.
Yeah, I get the point. But the thing is, isn't it also a truism that for lots of people who are involved in this structure, which you speak about, having structured it, as you describe it, is a first real experience for lots of them at this stage, in terms of, compared to other political parties, maybe the other ones have been there before. So how much of that can they rely on, saying, well, we will get victory because of what we've done, having not been there before?
Oh, no. You see, life is a school, and experience is the school teacher. But those of us who are really experienced have come over 3 decades doing this business, knows what to do, and we have done it. You find even those that you say are inexperienced or have not participated in politics, holding the polling unit at this point. Go to any polling unit in Nigeria. You find those that you say are fresh. They are holding, building structure, showing presence, showing visibility. It's massive. This is a revolution as far as I'm concerned. It's not through the guns or weapons, but through the ballot. And the Nigerian people are ready. And though they are building that structure and the polling unit, I myself, I am amazed by what the kind of things I have seen done at the polling unit and at the world level for people who are said to be fresh.
So should one be, I mean, should you or people who are involved in the same scenario with you, should they be overtly optimistic or cautiously optimistic, considering that, look, in our policy here, anything can happen?
Well, cautiously though, but then we are doing our work. That makes us to do our work more. Even today, we are at work, you know, getting in touch with all the structures and all the layers, building further layers, you know what Professor told me we call layers of redundancy or something like that. You know, we are building more layers, even now, because you know you can't know who will sell out. So you build another layer so that if this is compromised, this work. So we are cautious. It enables us to do the work so that we are not just, you know, we have been taking things for granted that we have won. So the work is ongoing. As I speak here, national mobilizers are meeting all over the country, meeting with their people at the polling unit, setting up the structure, people are being trained, etc., getting prepared so that nothing untoward happen to us, and it will not happen the way we are going.
You are in charge of contact and mobilization.
Yes.
And then at the grassroots.
A grassroots mobilization.
So you have a lot of information and detail in terms of what to expect on that day.
For sure.
Now, we also do know that for these other political parties who've been there, done several things, how they handle their party agents is key.
Oh, yes.
How is Labour Party approaching this?
Oh, a lot of training, capacity building. We started that about a week ago. Capacity building, because knowledge is power. You have to proceed from an informed. It's not about money for us. It's about knowledge, building appropriate knowledge, training our people, and also inspiring them with what to see come after we must have won in terms of what kind of governance structure we want to build, inclusive governance. So we are trying our best to make sure that our people are motivated, and we are also going to capacitate them.
And speaking about motivation,
yes.
I mean, we've heard different politicians say, not that I want to subscribe to it, that some of them say that what money cannot do, more money can do. Some say, when you see some people who tell you it's not about money, they haven't seen the kind of money that they think is money. And so when the rubber hits the road for a lot of people, can you actually vouch and say, look, our people are organic. They are here to do what they've been trained to do. And so when they see any kind of money, they won't face them. Can you really say that?
The Nigerian people...
I mean, for your party agents.
Yes, the Nigerian people gathered in our party because there are power centers converging in Labour Party. That period, you see what NLC did just yesterday, giving directive to all the workers. That's another layer to show you work. But then money, yes, money is important, and we are going to spend it wisely. We are going to deploy it wisely. We don't have that kind of...
Have you been deploying it?
Oh, yes. We have been for logistics.
I thought your party's slogan, your candidate's slogan is, they don't give shishi.
We don't bribe, we don't induce, we don't bribe, we don't corrupt people with money. But we should definitely come into this studio myself. I put petrol inside the vehicle now.
So the party agents and some of them will need petrol?
They will need to be supported logistically, to be supported. And that is reasonable. This is a capitalist society. I mean, there is nothing that is free. There is no free lunch. They will need to be supported wisely, but we are not going to induce voters or induce or bribe anybody.
So
and you know, a presidential candidate is averse to that.
So what does
but
it support?
We spend money. We definitely spend.
How is this support?
And we have got this money from Nigerians. Enormous support. We have got it, but in deploying it, we'll deploy it wisely, appropriately, and judiciously. Because we also have to retire what we are deploying. So we want to have result. It's not the same. We have played the old politics. I was involved in the process from 1998, for instance, 2003, 2006. So I know how these things are done. But in this case, it is different. It's a movement politics where the people have taken ownership of this party. It's beyond obese, beyond leadership. It's beyond all of us. So therefore, we must do what Nigeria wants.
Could you be a little more specific?
Nigerians are the ones supporting with their 10 kobo, 2 kobo, with their blood, with their sweat. So it's a revolution.
So tell us then, let's understand it a little further. How is this support going to play out in practical terms?
Yeah, in practical
How
terms.
are you going to support the people? What did you mean when you say you will support them and mobilize them?
Oh, definitely.
How
what
exactly?
It means is that we are going to get facilities.
Are you going to buy gift items for them?
No. Facilities. If you have to hire a vehicle to do stuff, we will hire it. To move around, we will do that. If you have to fuel, we will fuel. If you need to get laptops to be able to, we will do that. But however,
so what if
Nigerians on their own.
If I need to drink tea or something,
well, if it is necessary for your welfare to sustain you, why not? You can drink water and take refreshment. Why not? To sustain you, your humanity. We will do that deliberately from the center. But then we know that Nigerians by themselves are ready to bring the resources on the table. And they are doing that. Private individual is just like I'm from the Awo Political Academy, for instance, and we have it culture at that level. It's like the action group of those days, where the people came, the farmers, the peasants came out to put money in. Awo didn't have money at that time. He didn't have money, but they put money in, they put resources, and they took ownership of the Southwest Nigeria, and that was why Awo was able to develop Southwest, because he couldn't have done, differently from what he told the people.
But did you see any video or material circulating on social media about how they thought that the Labour Party was not supporting them as they were, so they wanted that support to happen? This kind of support, which I think you're talking about now. Have you seen it?
I saw that video. Those elements may be disconnected from the leadership of the party in their state. And I think that's them.
Did you reach out to any one of them?
Oh, yes. We have asked the leaders there. I spoke with one of the leaders there this morning. And they said they are taking care. As a matter of fact, they had training for I'm not sure those people went to that training. So it's information, and they'll get back to them. We are doing what we need to do at the grassroots. I am aware that in that same data, there was a massive training for all the polling agents and canvassers. And so I'm not sure whether and information was passed as to what we will do, how we capacitate our agents and volunteers.
Let's bring in our colleagues from Lagos.
Right. Well, Mr. Kuni, just to be clear then, the natural follow-up would be, so what is the state of, I think the term used in your circles is mobilization, logistics support. What is the state of logistics support, particularly for your agents who will be doing a lot of work that day? In fact, some would say the success or otherwise of your campaign really rests on their role on election day. So what's the state of that mobilization? Have you been able to ensure that resources are available for all of them? What percentage would you say you have gone so far?
As at last night, that is set, and that has been perfected in terms of logistic support. The national chairman of the party is on top of that, and I was privy to be with him. So all agents of the party already are aware, or by now should be aware what comes in terms of logistic support, of facility, etc. And that is set. There is no problem with that. 100%. 100% that is set. and I know that some have already been touched in their various locality by what we have done. Nigeria is huge. Nigeria is not just a monolithic setting. We have various component parts, and so we are devolving that logistics from the center to everywhere. And by 12 noon today, everything should be set for our agents, for our volunteers, for our canvassers, for our scouts, and other supporters who will be at the polling unit to ensure our victory and to defend our victory.
So anyone who's going about saying, well, they've not gotten mobilization, they've not been adequately provided for, you're saying that that person perhaps is disconnected, is not saying the truth based off what you're saying. Over 100,000 of your agents have been mobilized, according to you.
Yeah, sure. But, that is set for now. Yesterday, that was concluded. You know, people, information dissemination, people will get whatever belongs to them directly. The capacity is to the polling agent directly, not by proxy. You get it, what belongs to you, and you use it to work. It's for work. It's to capacitate work. It's not for inducement. It's not for you to be bribed. So they have that. As at last night, everything has been perfected as far as mobilization of agents are concerned, and we have 48 hours to go.
Right. So how are you handling the, well, so-called Naira crunch? There's difficulty for a lot of people getting access to new Naira notes. I mean, the CBN says it is stepping up work in that area. So how is that affecting this mobilization? Because I can imagine if the average Nigerian says it's hard to even get cash to use public transport, that should also apply to you as well, I imagine.
Yeah, definitely. Everybody's affected by this scenario, but we are finding a way out of that. What you call transfer can suffice, but then it will still affect at the grassroots. But we'll find a way out. That's not for the TV. We'll find a way to deal with that challenge. It's a challenge, but we will be ingenious enough and to deal with that at our level. It's affecting everybody, particularly at the grassroots. You may not be able to take public transport, but we devise a means. But the logistics are set and everything perfected as to capacitate our agent in the entire polling unit where we are present. And thank God today we have parties, political parties, who have also joined us and are joining forces, you know, to what we are doing in terms of support at the polling unit level. Right. They are also going to devolve or deploy their agents to be able to support our efforts at the various polling units. So we are going to devise a means to get out of. It's a real challenge coming at this, but it's good because money and corruption will lose its efficacy at this point. It will lose, but I know also that the Behemoth and the Leviathan in APC and PDP are also starting money, you know. But then Nigerian people are alert and vigilant, and they will deal with all that.
So perhaps that's where we should pick it up from. You talk about the, you know, practice in the other political parties. Let's assume that that will be the case on election day, that there would be vote buying. How do you think it's going to affect, you know, your support base and the votes that you intend to scoop in this election?
Well, for me, where there is a will, there is a will. Where you are popular and the Nigerian people are vigilant, vote buying itself will be dealt with. It won't be something that you can freely do. Given our popularity and the Nigerian people, they will resist it. But however, the Nigerian security forces have also assured the EFCC that that will not happen. But for our forces, we are going to make sure that, because where you are popular in a polling unit, it will be difficult for people to buy vote. Even when they take your money, they will not vote for you. And if you want to do it by force, they will resist you. You know, so the critical thing is for us to be popular at every polling unit. The Nigerians are even wiser, and I know that where they take money, which belongs to them, they will still do what they want to do because enough of suffering in the last 8 years.
So,
in the
Mr.
last
Kuni,
16 years, you know,
Mr. Kuni,
since the inception of democracy.
So you're restating the Labour Party's disposition on this platform, as you say in your parlance, that the Labour Party is not going to give shishi in this election for vote buying.
We know they take, we know they give shishi. We will not give shishi because why should we do that? If we do that, it means that we are going to put investors, businessmen in power who will come and take over the entire resources and use it for their personal. We are not trying to do highest money back politics again. We are saying that is in the past. We are saying highest bidder in politics is in the past. We want credible alternative to be able to give us inclusive governance that will reclaim Nigeria for the Nigerian people. So we are not going to give anybody shishi because we know they take by ourselves. We know they give, and so we know go give shishi.
And just before we leave your plans and preparations, Mr. Kuni, you know, while you're hard at work, the opposition may have been spying on you, and they say that you still do not have the structure to pull off that constitutional requirement to win the election, because according to them, what you have in, you know, the polling units across Nigeria is just a paltry 140,000, and that, you know, what is also absent in your campaigns is, you know, the presence of senatorial, House of Reps candidates, governorship candidates, which should be, you know, the mobilization point in all the local government areas in the state to provide you votes. So as a result, there's no place even for your presidential candidates to win this election. How do you respond to this?
That is an assumption that is fallacious. Because the people are the structure. And the voice of the people is the voice of God. Where you have 100 million poor people, you know, in a country, and you say they don't have structure, you know, that is the structure of the Labour Party. And the people are hungry, sufficiently hungry, to resist every circumvention or corruption that this so-called, well, because when you say senatorial candidate, it's about public fund, public finance, starch fund, stolen money, which they want to use to induce people. And the people said, we have had enough of that. So the structure that you need is in the polling unit for the Nigerian people to stand and be vigilant and resist any corruption. That is the point we are making. Yeah, that is the point. And the people sufficiently, under the leadership of the Labour Party, are ready to do that. Instructions have been given. And you say 140,000 polling units. I just told you. Now there are other parties who are already filling the gap in area where you may think that we don't have polling unit agent. And beyond that, where we don't have, we have canvassers where we have not been able to feed. We say 170, it's 170. We have people who are Nigerians who have been enlightened to resist. So we have the structure. We have every Nigerian that is obedient. Is our polling unit agent. So that's the point we are making.
So, Mr. Kuni, are you suggesting that if there were annexed 176,846 polling units in this country?
Yes.
So I think I heard somebody say from your party that you have about at least five persons per polling unit.
Canvassers.
Canvassers.
And then you have a polling unit. Under my leadership, I have built all this. We have built that structure.
So does that mean that you have, you will likely have about, what, 884,000, about 230 canvassers and agents altogether, if you're to have 5 per polling unit?
Oh, definitely we have 5 public canvassers, and we have polling unit coordinators. We even have scouts, 5, to go around. So what will be the work of the polling unit? To sign
To go around or to be on each polling unit?
To be, yes, to go around.
So how many do you have to be on each polling unit?
Each polling unit, in terms of canvassers, not agent now,
okay,
we have 5, solid 5. And then you have support groups, you have the PCC, you have from all sectors. We have an inclusive 5 canvassers. We have people who are, you know, who are undercover, who are scouts, who are watching, who are very watchful and vigilant. They are also there. And then you have a coordinator at that point, different from the polling unit. So Nigerians are fully mobilized under the leadership to resist any untoward act. And so we are prepared for this. We have been involved in the past with setting up even the APC. I mean, you know, you are aware how APC was set up, you know, from the Mega Summit movement to CPC to APC. And we're involved in all that and we have brought president to power in this country, you know. So we say that, look, what you have done is wrong. You have deceived Nigerian people. And therefore, we are going to create a platform that will oust
so
you.
Do you think that your party candidates will win these elections? And if yes, is it going to be first ballot? Would there be a second ballot? What do you find it from your situation room?
Well, my optimism tells me that first ballot, straight.
Optimism,
yes.
Or from the point of your analysis in your situation?
Analysis gives me that optimism. And I've analyzed, I mean, the level of work that we have, hard work, that some of us are putting, inform that optimism that first ballot. You will be shocked by 12 noon when you see the Nigerian people.
12 noon when?
On Saturday, it will be clear
that
we have won.
12 noon on Saturday?
Long about. I am telling you what I have analyzed. By 12 noon, you will be clear. The Nigerian workers, all of them.
But Mr. Kunu, voting is supposed to end by 2:30.
Some of us will know.
By 12 noon?
By 12 noon, we will know what has happened. You will know that we have won. It may not be official, but you will know now when there is a trend and you are a Labour Party, and you will know that all these people are obedient. Well, by 2:30, that voting ends. It's just to polling, but you will know. If you are in a polling unit, for instance, and you see the trend, and you have an agent, you have canvasser, information would have come to all of us.
What if by 12 noon is only 40% of the people that have voted?
Well, that would mean some challenge at the level of INEC, because we expect that by 12 noon, voting would have ended. If people, but with the enthusiasm that we have seen, 8:30, you start at 8:30. Yeah. What will they be doing?
And by
500?
2:30,
yes.
if there are still people on the queue, they will be allowed to vote.
In my polling unit, what has happened so far is that with 3 hours, it's clear. People, you just have to delay. The presiding officer and the INEC official will just be playing because people would have voted.
Okay, now maybe I'm missing something. So could you go down memory lane and tell us, has there been any president in this country in recent history, given his democratic experience, that knew that they had won the elections or it was clear by 12?
Not officially, what I've told you, but I would have known. I would have known. Knowledge is about information that comes, but officially, well, you have to wait for the declaration of the result. When I say so, I'm cognizant of the fact that even official result may not be pronounced, by 12 midnight on that day. But I say with what I have seen, the enthusiasm for people to go and vote and the kind of trend, by 12, some of us who are doing this work, we know that.
But do you talk to your supporters, or does the party talk to them to ensure that, like every other person, they're expected to conduct themselves decently? Because if, for instance, they hear you now say that by 12 noon, you would have known that they would have won. But you also know that realistically, those results may not be announced even by 2:30 or 4. It might even take 2 days later. No one knows when it will be announced. Now, not where you want to compromise, for the result to be announced.
Yeah, officially.
Official announcement of the results, yes. Which will only be by INEC.
Yes.
So if people expect that they ought to have won by 12 and then they wait a day or two, chances are that they could be apprehensive or cautious, anxious or something, and
Definitely.
they may react in a certain way.
Definitely.
So you tell them to ensure that they conduct themselves decently all through.
No, peacefully. We have said that. I am just saying to you that some of us who are doing this work, who have known in the past, who have done this thing, I mean, we are not new in this business. We know when elections, and we know when there is an official delay to, you know, we know, we have structures everywhere. But we have instructed and given directive to our people. Be peaceful. Please make sure that you do not allow anybody to spark any dispute through you. Avoid it. Avoid it totally. That's the last training we had here in Abuja. To say avoid it because you are winning. Avoid anything that may lead to just be calm, wait for the official. But that does not mean that some of us who are doing this will not know when election. We may not put that in the public domain, but we will know. That's my optimism.
But you know, we've also had people who have told us here that God told them that they were going to win certain elections, and at the end of the day, they lost. So when people say that, yes, we will do this, we will do that, so one wonders what informs that optimism at the end of the day, because politicians can say what they want. They know how some of those things play out and how they handle themselves. But for those who are going into this for probably the first real experience, it will be a different experience and a different scenario, different reality when reality unfolds, whatever their reality is. Don't you think so?
Yes, I think so. But the fact remains that with your hard work, if you have done your analysis well, there are things that you will know. With the feedbacks at this point, 48 hours to election, you should know. We're also comparing notes. People even in APC and PDP are talking and saying, they're afraid though. This place, they're afraid though. They're afraid though.
Of what?
Because of the obedience. Because the rank keeps swelling and swelling. Even in Lagos, in Delta, in Kanu, in Rivers, where you have very, very, very high voters population.
But the statement by the Labour Party, by the NLC,
yes,
about asking supporters to go ahead, you know, to ensure that polling unit levels, ensuring that they provide at least 10 ward coordinators and canvassers to not only mobilize but defend the people's votes. But at this point, for the NLC to come up with this, but we've also heard lots of people say, look, not several of people in the Labour, in NLC, already have their preferred candidates. So asking them to do these things at this time may not achieve the desired result, because many of them have already decided way before now what their alliances or their lenient, where they will lean. So by now, it may be a little tricky to ask them to do all of these things.
Well, for us, we know how this came about, because the political commission of both TUC and have been working with us in the third force for about 1 year now. And we have already, you know, agreed on what to do. This is coming late. Maybe it should have come very early. But then, I know that majority of Nigerian workers have made up their mind. There are Nigerian people too who are hungry, who have seen, I mean, you want to talk about the fuel price? You want to talk about all kind of mismanagement of the polity, and they have their own party at this time. So we agreed at that level, and that's the political commission, to join Labour Party together.
Who makes up this political commission?
Political commission of the
NLC
are made up of members of the NLC, members of the TUC, and they are veterans. They are veterans, people who have retired from work, active service. They are part of it. So this commission is the largest.
But if NLC,
yes,
Labour Party, had this capacity,
yes,
why didn't they do it when the former NLC president contested on that platform?
Former NLC president contested on which platform?
On Labour Party. Several people have tried Labour Party. They didn't get the kind of results.
No formal.
Adam Shomole left Labour Party and went to APC.
Yes, he went to ACN then. He didn't even contest. He didn't wait to contest on that Labour Party.
So
he
that's
left
the thing.
ACN.
So if they had this capacity, why didn't he wait to contest?
That was the judgment of Adam Oshiomhole. That was his judgment, but some of us felt that Labour could have delivered him in Edo. You were talking of Edo.
But he didn't think Labour could deliver him. Why?
Well, that's his judgment. That's not my judgment. That's not the judgment of the rank and file of the...
But don't you think NLC. His judgment as the president of NLC counts for something?
Well, I wouldn't know what informed that. I wouldn't know what informed that. But that why the workers were enthusiastic, even in Edo, to deliver him, he moved to ACN to contest for governorship, and he won. Well, that's not bad. That's not. But it is the bulk of Nigerian workers in Edo that also delivered that, because they were the foot soldier and they were the engine room of that campaign. Now that this directive has come, clearly come, you will see what the Nigerian workers are doing. They are going to be interfacing now with our people in Labour Party concretely, because there is a clear direction for the commission. And the commission exists in the 36 states and Abuja. The commission, the political commission, is different from NLC.
So do you have the commitment?
All the trade unions.
Do you have the commitment of all of these people that they will vote for the Labour Party candidates?
For sure, that was decided at the ANAC, at the NEC, and at the highest level. This was the decision taken. So the political commission is just implementing a decision that has been taken by the leadership, and they were involved in taking that. All the unions were involved. So I do not expect them to do anything separate from this.
All right, let's bring in my colleagues from Lagos again.
Well, thanks, Chamberlain. I mean, some would say that they can give their commitment, but you have workers, or at least members of labor unions across the country, who also have their party affiliations. I mean, the fact that you're a member of, any employment union does not say you can't be a member of another party. So there'll be questions as to how far-reaching that will be in influencing who they will vote for, since it's assumed that everybody has freedom of affiliation. But another support which you have gotten in recent times, and I see people on social media adding the number of agents for ADC to number of Labour Party agents, and saying that, together you have the most agents. And some will say, well, at those grassroots levels, they also have their own candidates and who they're supporting. So it's really just a mix and match issue. But I'd like you to speak to the fact that the presidential candidate of the ADC came out to say, well, he's still the presidential candidate of the party. So how is that really working out from that endorsement, or collapsing, as the case may be, to the presidential candidate still saying, well, I'm still in charge?
Oh, well, I am not in ADC for instance. And I know that the leadership of the party, the national chairman, hold the haze when it comes to elections like this. And they are the one in charge of what you call agents. They uploaded agents and the rest. So therefore, if our people are permutating that we have higher numbers of, they are right, because it's the national leadership and the party is supreme, and the highest presiding officer of the party is the national chairman, not the presidential candidate. And the national chairman and his team, are with Labour Party. Therefore, there is no cause for alarm. The presidential candidate do not know how they got the house divided. Well, can only pray, because INEC will only recognize whatever is done by the national leadership, led by the national chairman. So let us see how it plays out. But for us, we can bank on the support of ADC and other parties that have given us, their support. And that will still give us, you see, more we declare today for us. So we can back on that. But I don't want to go into the internal politics of the African Democratic Congress. But what I know of Nigerian politics is that INEC will only relate with the national chairman. The national chairman in Nigerian politics is like God, small God. There is nothing he can do when it comes to all the Nigerian. So we are relying on that the national chairman is with us, and his national working committee members are with us, and therefore we cannot be
Mr.
wrong in our calculation.
The point made by the presidential candidate of the ADC is that, in fact, the national chairman, which he described as an erstwhile chairman, the case has been taken to court, saying that he's been there for 17 years, and according to the constitution of the party, he shouldn't be there. In fact, he said a court made a pronouncement on that. So if his position is being contested up until the court saying that it is unconstitutional, can you still say for sure that you are working with the chairman of the party, which, according to the party's constitution, is said to, well, have overshot his tenure, 17 years?
Well, in Nigerian politics, INEC is the arbiter. Who does INEC recognize? That is the point. Till as we speak, the man who relates with INEC on electoral matter is the same chairman. So you can't fault that. So you can say anything in the media, you can go to court and say, but as far as the judgment of INEC is concerned, with whatever is before them, either legal matters and whatever, the national chairman of ADC is still Chief Raf Okemwosu. And that is the person we are dealing with. So that cannot be a problem here for us. We are dealing with INEC. INEC is dealing with him. INEC will only deal with his nominated agent. So we are good to go. We are good to go. But we wouldn't like to dabble into their internal matter.
I wonder how the Labour Party is, you know, going about this. Are you seeing it simply as a matter which you're profiting from? I mean, profiting from the division in the African Democratic Congress. If that's not the way you're seeing it, are you looking beyond this relationship, this level of relationship, to saying, okay, we can actually form a merger? Because it could go both ways also. There could be a fracture within the Labour Party. You know, if it came to that level, would the Labour Party be happy with your own structure working with other parties? I wonder if you get my point.
I get your point. The members of Labour Party, under the leadership of the national chairman, wants to work with us. We shouldn't say no. They must have seen very good things in what we are doing and what can reclaim or save Nigeria. And that's why they have come. We are not profiting then. As a matter of fact, we did not know about any division. But what we are conscious is that, is it the right person to deal with? Are they the right person? If the national chairman had been the wrong person, we would not have taken this seriously. What is the right person? Is the recognized chairman. And therefore, we are right to deal with him. There will be merger. There will still be merger. There will be fusion of other into Labour Party. I know that because that was what we designed before adopting Labour Party as the mega party for the 2023 election. But that did not come. But it's playing out now. People are beginning to see the sense in coming together. And so there will be a merger. Well, maybe after the elections, more parties will move in, and then we are ready to accommodate them if they believe in the vision for a new Nigeria. But we are not trying to profit anywhere, but we are dealing with the right we want to do. Who legally can we deal with? And in this case of ADC, we are dealing with the right person, legally recognized by INEC. And so we know that that structure is with us. Until something else is done, then
now, let's take a second look
right
at
course.
the NLC's directive to workers to vote for the Labour Party in the in the coming elections. You know, isn't that coming a bit late in the day? That's on the one hand, and on the second hand, do you think the NLC is taking into consideration the fact that workers in states of the Federation will have their own party affiliation? Apart from that, perhaps their structure is in the hands of the state governments, and they have probably directives to vote for the ruling party at that level. And as a result, the directive by the NLC is a mere directive on paper, and you may not be able to scoop as much votes as you should from that directive.
I don't think so, because the NLC, the trade union, are the founder of Labour Party. The workers that you are talking about are the refounder from 2001 to 2002. You know, they are the founders. So, and this is just to give them the needed, energy for them to do the right thing. So if they are the founders of the party, they will want to ensure so when they have a very good candidate and very good program at this point, want to ensure that their party wins. As we speak, the certificate of Labour Party is in the custody of the Nigerian Labour Congress. So why wouldn't they want to support their party? Yes, I know there are people who may have, well, some affiliation with some. They are just infinitesimally small. So they cannot really, but the majority of Nigerian workers are going to vote Labour Party. You can take that from me.
All right, so that's going to be very interesting when they go out there to cast their votes. Mr. Olawale Okuniyi is the chairman, contact and mobilization, special duties for Labour Party. He's also the head, grassroots mobilization for Dati PCC. Though you say you're going to ensure that what's that word you used again? They are mobilized.
Yes, fully capacitated.
So mobilization and shishi, people thought they use them interchangeably.
Mobilize, no, it's different.
That's so different.
It's just when people want to use it on the pedestrian level, that mobilization is, definition is you garner resources and human capital and move them for a goal.
So it's just going to happen this Saturday. That will be the big day. Thank you for coming on, and all the best to you and your party.
Thank you very much.
We will be back in just a moment. Stay with us.